Welcome back to
I
I'm
guess
in
I'll
the
do
black
clap.
box.
Since Mike's not on here. I'll do the clap.
There you go. Like, technical difficulties, and I am in a black box with Julie in a black box. But we do have Cindy and Jeff here. Got the band back together.
Yeah, it's the first Tuesday of the month. First Tuesday of the month.
Right.
Here it is. It is
Back
good to
on.
see you. But you can't figure out why this doesn't
What?
work. So we're just going to do this. It's like I'm protesting. I'm mourning whatever.
You're mourning Iran. Are you in solidarity with the Iranian government and the Ayatollah? Is that the issue?
Yeah, that's it. I'm so sad they're all dead. But
They're
maybe
sad.
they'll have another meeting and get more of the top guys, put them all in a building so some little Jewish guy can drop another missile on them. That would be awesome.
I'm not sad. That guy's up in heaven right now with 40 virgins getting it on.
It's not
I'm
virgin,
jealous.
it's Virginians. He's getting his ass whipped by George and Washington and
Oh
the rest
no,
of
I
them.
think you're misreading that.
So my
Once again, misreading the Quran.
my camera isn't working and I'm drinking chicken cock.
Ew.
Ew.
Yep.
Gross.
Hey, Cat and Vern are on.
Well,
Hey,
did you know that that's why it's called a cocktail? So back when they first started making mixed drinks, they didn't have straws. They didn't exist back then. So they would pull a tail off of a rooster and pluck the feathers off of it, and that's what they would use to stir their drinks. That's why it's called a cocktail. True story.
is that true?
It is
Is
true.
that true?
I'm a lawyer. I'm incapable of lying or making up stories to prove my intelligence.
Lana's on.
I'd say by show of
Against the
hands, but
bar
you wouldn't be able to see our hands.
That is why it's called a cocktail, because that's what they used to originally think about it. Did they have straws back in whenever they started mixing different rums or mixtures together? So they plucked the tail off a rooster, pulled all the things off it, and used it to stir the drinks. It's called a cocktail.
They couldn't just swirl the glass around?
That probably started that, but then you can't get the mixture done correctly. They probably stuck their dirty ass pirate fingers in there or something back in the day to swirl that shit around, and then everybody started getting sick. So they're like, maybe we should use something off of a rooster. I don't know.
Yeah, because
That's what you're hoping they were stirring it with and calling it a cocktail.
Right. Well, exactly. Yeah.
That's all I'm
Depends
saying.
on. I don't know how many other items they tried before they settled on the tail of a rooster, but that's true story though. That's why it's called a cocktail.
It would be pretty.
What?
The feather. The rooster's feathers are very pretty from the tail.
Where's
So
the
it was
lurker
a good
guy?
thing.
He isn't saying he's using the feathers. He says
We hear him.
Hear 'em, yeah.
the tail of
The feathers from the tail.
Oh. It's
So
implied
Kat
that-
says, hi, Jeff, Cindy, Julie, and Mike.
Hi, even though you can't see us.
Hi. Okay.
All right. So let's get to the toast, I guess.
Oh shoot! You have anything to do?
Oh my God.
It's just, Tim's just like us. We can hear him, but you can't see him.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
There he is.
Oh, hi, Tim.
I like your flag.
Hi. Yeah, representing.
Attaboy. Where are you guys?
In Texas.
We are in
Thanks.
Buffalo, Texas. Buffalo,
Where-
Texas.
How close is that to Fort Worth?
About a 2.5-hour drive.
Oh, okay. Is it far away from Austin?
Far away from everything.
Yeah, we're in a town of less than 1,700 people.
Nice.
It-
There's only 60 cars in town.
No. But, yeah, we're probably 2.5 hours from Austin. We're about 2 hours from Houston.
You're just in the middle of everything.
Mm.
It's dark out here too.
I mean,
When the sun goes down, it is dark.
Nice. You could see the stars, huh? Not like
Oh,
a big
yeah.
city.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the toast, and then you guys can get on with it because you can't see us.
We're at 1%
So here's-
anyway.
All right. So I'll go get the cord because
Okay.
they won't know if I'm gone anyway. Here's a toast to getting the band back together. It goes something like this. You know what rhymes with the first Tuesday of the month? Alcohol.
Yep. Cheers.
Woo!
Gun lawyers
Sure, I like chicken.
rhymes with alcohol.
We go get a cord. And I'll be right back.
Okay.
One current gun lawyer and one former gun lawyer.
yeah. It's,
So we didn't thank the
How are-
sponsors yet, did we? Are we waiting for Mike to do that? Now we can do. Now I can do that. He's busy. All right. So first, we would like to thank our sponsors. We'll start with the King sponsor, Johnny Custom Glocks, because life is too short to have a Glock trigger that sucks. So make sure you hit up Johnny Custom Glocks for your brand new Glock triggers. There's the the 411 or 1411 or whatever it's called these days is the new one out there. So check out all his socials and stuff. He's like Johnny Custom Glock, the guy, or something like that, because he gets sued if he just calls himself or whatever it is. But find him out there on Facebook and get yourself a Glock trigger that doesn't suck. Next is our Queen sponsor,
Queen sponsor.
our Jester sponsor, Sean Hilton over at Smoke Show 3D.
Woo-hoo! Yeah!
There goes Mike,
baby.
we
Yeah, baby.
Is your camera thingy just shut?
Go to his website, get yourself a nice Glock block.
Got
Take apart that Johnny Glock trigger and the Glock that you just got on your new Glock or your old Glock. Make sure you go to smokeshow3d.com, put in our code Frontside Press. You get 10% off on all of your custom made 3D printed items over there at Smoke Show 3D. And then last but certainly not least, the Self Defense Emporium. They're always hooking us up for hours on the stimulator and various other things that they do for us across the platforms. Make sure you go to the Self Defense Emporium and buy some merch, buy a gun, get a membership, do some shooting, take some safety classes, take some shooting classes, use the simulator, all kinds of cool stuff they got going on over there at SDE Emporium. Is that it? Is that everybody? See, I can do that. A blind monkey can do his job.
See that?
A nutless monkey can do your job. Seriously, a nutless monkey. Anybody know what movie that's from?
A nutless monkey? No, what?
Seriously, a nutless monkey could do your job. You don't
What's
know what movie
that
that's from?
No, I'm
It's
asking.
in the
you.
movie. It's in the movie that has the dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. You know what movie that is?
Tropical,
Okay.
Tropic
Tropic
Thunder.
Thunder. Yes, correct. That's what the Tom Cruise character says to the guy that works for him. A nutless monkey could do your job.
So obviously you're a nutless monkey then. Is that what you're
Correct. I was
saying?
able to do your job.
Feel stuck. Says,
I was
hello.
able to do your job.
Who was in the other day?
Yep. Oh, Bill Butts was in.
No. Bill Stuck was in.
Ah.
Frank Butts was in.
There you go. Yep.
So anyways, how's Texas treating you? How are the laws out there?
about the same as Florida.
I was
we
gonna
have
say, is
some
it
different
better
laws.
or worse
Obviously,
for guns?
Well, we have open carry, so
So do we. In your face.
In your face.
That's true. That's true. But I think we had it first. But
My bump stock is
48,
legal.
47 other states had it first. So yeah, you're ahead of the
Yeah.
game on that one.
Abood says,
you know,
who is the stalker in the back of the flag? Tim, bring your face down so Abood can see you.
What are you new here?
What
He's the lurker.
I'm the studio audience tonight.
There it is.
Yep. But no, it's so weird. Texas is like a completely different world. It really is. I mean, we lived in Florida for, I don't know, 16 years.
16 years, yeah.
And we loved
Lightweights.
Florida. Don't get me wrong. But Texas, I mean, from the minute we moved here, we've now been here a little over a year.
A year and 2 months.
A year and 2 months. And I can't even describe how different it is. People will stop you in a grocery store and, just
to talk.
I mean, just for something, can you help me with something? Or they'll be commenting about something. And then you're there for a 10-minute conversation. Everybody is just so friendly and helpful. It's just different. And then the guns, once you start talking to people, this is what I've discovered. When you're talking to people, there's 3 things that come up: guns, cows, and church. That it's just in that conversation.
Not Jasmine Crockett? Are you sure about that?
Not what?
Not Jasmine Crockett? Are you sure about that?
No. Where we live, no.
No, it's very, very, very red here.
Very red. Yeah. Oh, politics. That's the other thing. It doesn't matter where you go. People will bring up politics, and they assume you are like-minded.
They're very pro-military too. I've had more people come up to me and thank me for my service. It's
in this 1 year than in 16 years in Florida.
yeah.
Well,
incredible.
again, imagine it's where you're at. My guess, if you're wandering around Austin, you're probably not going to get the same sort of response.
No,
No.
Austin.
There you go.
And I imagine if you lived in Ocala, you probably get a little bit more of that than you did here in Sarasota or whatever too. So it probably has more to do with maybe the ruralness of your city.
That could be a lot of it. Although,
Because I heard
we've
Texas
been
is
to
going
Wake-
blue. I heard Texas is going blue by AOC yesterday. I want to say I heard that from AOC, and I heard that from Too Little. Is that his name? Turkle, whatever that guy's name is. So
whatever his name is.
enjoy it while you can, because in November of 2028 you're going blue. So
Yep.
Well, and again,
you'll have to move to Montana.
we'll stay here. We'll just ignore the rest of the state. But, there's never anything that's a given, because the cities, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and people are coming from other states. So, we're going to have the same problems Florida does. We're going to be purple, and it could swing either way.
We're not purple.
Not
We haven't
gonna
been purple since Obama.
Yeah, but Florida kind of is. In other words, there's always that chance it could. I don't know. I just always felt like Florida could swing blue given the right opportunities. And I think Texas could too, because, like you said, Houston, Austin, Dallas, the big cities, San Antonio, they're very blue. And they're just expanding out. Where my son lives, he lives in Spring, which is a suburb of Houston. And I was talking to my new neighbor that we just met the other day. She moved here from Spring, and she said Spring used to look like Buffalo. In other words, it was very rural, this, that, and the other. Now it's just wall-to-wall houses. It looks like Sarasota.
Oh, but it's
Yeah.
close to Houston too.
It's a suburb of Houston, but the suburbs keep going out and out and out. But anyway, all in all, though, we really, really enjoy it here. Our weather is on par with Jacksonville, Florida. We're on that same latitude.
So we saw some ice, or I don't even know what to call it. It wasn't really ice. It was like snow, but not snow. We had like about a quarter of an inch of that during that big cold snap that came through. But,
yeah, I was going to ask you if you got any of that.
Yeah, it was nasty. It closed everything down for a couple days. We are not set up for that kind of weather at all. The town or anybody.
Yeah, but I think when I lived in Massachusetts, they called that sleet.
Sleet, yeah.
Yeah, it was sleet. That's what we got.
Sleet sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't drive on it, and you can't make snowmen out of it.
No. It's
the worst of both.
It warms up and then it freezes, so it really gets bad. I had like 4 inches of the stuff that blew up on the windshield of my truck, and it was there until I went out there and hit it with alcohol.
Wow.
I'm going to show. This is, let's see, since we're talking guns, let me see if I can get this right. This is one of our back pastures. Tim set up a little berm back there with a steel pig target.
That boy.
And, he's got, let's see if I can, it's not playing. I know it's not, because I don't think I can, it's so hard to figure out where to put it. Where does it go? Where's the stupid?
Anyhow, I got enough property to shoot whenever I want.
That boy.
It's terrible.
It's not that much property out here. It's almost apologetic. We always go, we only have 11 acres.
Only.
Because everybody else has way more.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even with 11 acres, we don't know what we're going to do with our property. It's too much.
Well, we might be
another berm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got enough to make a good 600-yard shooting range.
There you go.
Yeah, you can find some stuff to do with your property. Get yourself some dirt bikes, build some ramps, all kinds of fun stuff.
Get some cows.
I'm 6 years old. I don't do dirt bikes.
Well, that's on
I'm
you.
fragile now. Huh?
That's not Jeff's fault.
Yeah, that's on you.
Abood has a question. Says Mike and Julie, can Tim, Andy, and I come see you on Tuesday? You're
I'll
in
be
town.
there.
Awesome.
We'll be there. Come by.
Yeah.
You're going to be there too? You won't be there Tuesday.
I usually take Tuesdays off, but because I'm taking Wednesday through Sunday off, maybe I can come in Tuesday. I'll have to talk to Pacho. See if I can come in. Yeah, I've gone from working 6 days a week to 5 days a week.
It's like retiring.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the world? Anything? Is Jeff frozen?
Ibola's dead.
Looks like Jeff is frozen.
Oh, no.
Well,
Soon it'll just be you guys.
I brought Cindy. I didn't have
We can't hear you.
What?
to do all
You need to get a new laptop.
that. Hello?
Starlink.
Yep. He's flying in. He didn't say when.
Okay. All right.
Ah.
So yeah, the Ayatollah's dead, and what was it?
40 of his buddies.
No, I think it's like 80 something of his closest friends.
80. Wow.
Well, because they had a big meeting, they killed them all, and then they had a big meeting. They all got together to find out who's going to be next,
And they killed
and they killed all of them too.
Wow.
That's a shame.
Well, the only shame is they didn't have a third meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Hey, there's Jeff.
He's back.
He's back.
Yay. Nope.
You
No,
need
he's not.
Starlink.
The new freaking service platform because whatever they have sucks.
Oh, that was the platform's fault. When it was me, it was my
I don't know what I'm
fault.
paying for the damn system not to work half the time.
Oh. We have
It ain't
16.
me.
We're on
So,
Star.
no,
We had
I
18
invited
because we're watching because we're not
Cindy
we
on
can't see
here,
anything.
so I didn't have to do all the talking. So why are you asking me what's going on in the world? Cindy, what's going on in the world?
Oh, in the world, I don't know.
Ugh.
I other than the war over in Iran, which I only found out by accident. I was scrolling one night, well, because it's tax season. So during tax season, my world just ends. And it just is 8:30 in the morning till 11, 12:30, 1 o'clock at night. Because I was scrolling through and I'm like, oh, they killed Khomeini. That's nice. Bam.
That's nice.
On to something else. I'm like, okay, cool. So, but the real world is not affecting us out here.
Yeah, we kind of have to purposely go looking for the real world because it's
I'm gonna have
not
to start
real here.
looking, buy a house in your neighborhood.
Yeah, you'd like.
We don't have a neighborhood.
Yeah,
We have a county road.
Oh, you still buy
Biden.
gas, right? Your gas didn't shoot up like 60 cents over the last 2 days?
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Right. So, and though
We do.
you're still affected by
Yeah.
the real world, whether you like it or
We
not.
are. We are.
Gas
I
went
was-
up by 40 cents.
Yeah, and what's going to happen too is fertilizers and everything else that farmers out here and ranchers use. All that's going up. Beef prices are really high right now, but everybody's worried about the influx from south of the border now that Trump allowing that to flow again. So that's what people talk about: beef prices, more gas.
Do we get a lot of beef from Iran?
No,
Hey,
I don't think. Oh, no.
Vern says, I always thought Iran was the past tense of Iraq.
We don't get a lot of oil from Iran anymore either, so I don't understand why our prices here jumped up fucking 60 cents overnight. It's got nothing to do with America.
No, I think it's the Straits of Hormuz or something.
Yeah, Iran is in the bad situation for ships right now and boats.
Yeah.
Keep sinking.
You're looking for a new navy if anybody's selling a ship or a boat.
No kidding. What'd you think about that submarine sinking an Iranian boat out in the Indian Ocean?
Oh, I didn't see that.
First time a ship has been sunk with a torpedo since World War II.
What are they just?
Yep.
They just tracking it and waiting for it. It's like, all right, go get them. The leash is off.
Oh, what? I don't know. I think he was probably a target of opportunity. I mean,
Hey, look.
we are. Yeah, but it was pretty impressive. I was amazed.
What was it called? Like the ISS Khomeini or something like that. And they're like, how about that? Hey, can we sync this one? Sure, go ahead. Don't forget to get video.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
The
Other than that,
the big thing going on in the gun world right now is marijuana. Everybody's favorite topic. The case was argued today in front of the Supreme Court. There's a case about whether people who regularly use narcotics, including marijuana, are too dangerous to be allowed to possess guns. Basically, should they be prohibited people under the prohibited people statute? And based on the questions, even coming from some of the left-leaning judges, like that idiot Brown or whatever, Katanja Jackson or whatever her name is, who couldn't tell you what the definition of a woman is, said that she doesn't think the government should have the right to decide who's dangerous and who's not dangerous based on arbitrary language in a statute or whatever. So she even seemed to be sort of on that side. So I think the scuttlebutt is that in when do the rulings come out? Like June or something like that, whatever, when they issue the rulings from this session, that you might see that portion of the prohibited people completely thrown out. And then anybody who uses drugs, like that question won't be there anymore, basically. So that won't make you a prohibited person. Now, it's not going to change anything about convictions. Like if you have a felony conviction for marijuana, you're still a prohibited person because of the conviction, not because of the marijuana. But they're going to throw out the definition of a regular user of narcotics and say that the Biden children can have guns.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
It's funny, because that is one difference here in Texas is, well, let me think. I'm trying to remember. Florida, we had that we still did not have recreational marijuana. That's only in a few crazy leftist states.
Correct.
But
we just have medical marijuana.
We have medical marijuana, and Texas has medical marijuana, but it's much more restrictive. I remember in Florida, basically, you just had to say you had PTSD or from childbirth, and they would give you a prescription. Texas,
correct.
Much more restrictive. And now we can't buy THC-infused beverages unless you're 21, which they didn't have that rule here before, but they just passed that not too long ago. So I feel like we're going backwards in that respect. But again, I do believe you should be an adult to buy any kind of
alcohol,
yeah,
intoxicating stuff.
Yeah, so I don't really have a problem with that. Just
but adult is 18, not 21, right?
Well, and that's my thought.
That's drinking.
It's 18, but
right,
and that's nationwide.
Right.
So.
No, so I agree. So at least they're making it equal with the drinking laws, but I disagree with the drinking laws. So.
Well, that's because we were able to drink at 18.
Only on base.
No, we could drink.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Back in the 70s, you're right.
Yeah, you don't know the history. I tell you the reason why it's 21. Because 18-year-olds could drink back then, and 18-year-olds are seniors in high school, and guess what the age of everybody else in high school is? Not 18. So the seniors were able to buy all the alcohol for all the other high school students, and all those kind of things. And the DUIs went up, and the DUI started going up because of that, and more kids were driving and everything else. So there is no federal law that says 21 is the drinking age. That's a state law in every single state, because what the federal government did was they said, if you want any money to build your highways, you need to make the drinking age 21, so that way we don't have all these DUIs and the younger kids getting the alcohol from the kids in high school. So they basically extorted them, and no state got federal funding for highway or roads until they passed a state law making the age to drink 21. And so that's why it's 21 in every state in America. It's not a federal law. Federal government has no authority to create a drinking age, but every individual state has a drinking age of 21. Otherwise, they were losing their highway money. So yeah, Tim's right. Like way back in the Stone Age, when him and Mike and people like that went to high school, you could drink at 18, and that was passed individually in the late 70s when all the highway stuff started coming out. So now it's 21. Everything else obviously is 18, except of course now firearms are. In some states are 21, including Florida. So it's just it was like an arbitrary, it had to be old enough to where they could get the high school people far enough away, I think is what the theory was. They'd be in college by then or whatever. 21-year-olds aren't going to be hanging out with sophomores anymore. So they just kind of picked an arbitrary age that they thought would be old enough to deal with that. So that's sort of the history of why we're 21 for drinking. Why we're 21 for guns is because we got a bunch of pussies in the legislature that got scared after Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and passed a knee-jerk law that nobody wanted, and we're still stuck with it. So, and that one surprisingly is going backwards. So there was a lot of momentum for a while, and there were several judges like spread randomly throughout the country that were throwing out the 18-year-old bans as unconstitutional under Bruin. And then now you've seen a couple of them not throw them out. Our legislature has sort of made it out of the House, but then of course, like everything else, it kind of died in the Senate. Now you're seeing a lot of the momentum go behind that. So it was kind of weird because there was this big wave, I don't know, just 7 or 8 months ago where it seemed like it was gonna go down, just like open carry and everything else was going down. And now it seems like everybody's backing off from it. I don't know. I don't know why there haven't been like a bunch of shootings by 18-year-olds or anything like I don't know why, but it just seems like the momentum's starting to die down on that. So as of right now, it looks like it's dying again in the Senate, in the Senate here in Florida. I think the only way that's ever going to get passed is much like open carry. It's going to have to be found unconstitutional by one of our DCAs or the Supreme Court to get thrown out, because I don't think our legislature has the balls to do anything with that. Even now, 5 years removed or 7 years removed or whatever it is. Oh, that's more than that, because that was Rick Scott. So 8 years removed or whatever from that shooting. So yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, and we're kind of, again, Texas is very much like Florida. It's the legislatures talk real big, but nothing really changes. We've got a Senate bill to remove state level restrictions on SBRs and SBSs, to bypass federal regulation, but it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just there.
Right.
Which there's anti-red flag laws. Again, there's legislation, but nobody's doing anything. So
Nope.
Yeah, nobody's willing to die on that hill. That's the problem.
Nope, same here. Red flag's the same thing. It keeps getting put up to repeal that. It never gets repealed. Happens all the time. So unfortunately, yeah, you got all the talkers, and the problem here is we have a Republican majority. It's always the Republicans that shoot it down. Fake Republicans, rhinos, whatever you want to call them, but it's always denied by somebody who runs a committee in the Senate, and it's usually always a Republican, and they always just shoot it down. I don't know why. Open carry. The reason they always shot it down for open carry is probably the same reason here, was the Sheriff's Association. The Florida Sheriff's Association was adamantly against open carry, and they put a lot of pressure on the legislature to never pass open carry, which is why they had to get it from the courts. And I got to tell you, the sheriffs down here love red flag laws. They're like, if they could take that out for dinner and then have sex with a red flag law when they got back to their hotel or whatever, they would do it every fucking night, man, because the sheriffs down here just love it. And it's every sheriff. Don't kid yourself. Like Grady Judd does more red flags every year than any other sheriff in the state does, but everybody just assumes that guy's a big pro-gun dude because he goes out and makes all his crazy statements in front of the news. But that guy will take your gun faster than any other sheriff in the state. So every sheriff down here, don't kid yourself. You tell yourself you got a pro-gun sheriff or whatever, like our, Kurt here in Sarasota. He's a friend of mine. I've known him for 20 years. We used to work at the state attorney's office. And he prides himself as being pro-Second Amendment and gets all the endorsements. And his sheriff department does red flag laws left and right, just like every other sheriff's department does. So those sheriffs have never met a red flag person that they didn't like. So they're probably the same ones that are pushing the legislature not to do away with the red flag laws, because they just love them.
Right, and they're all kind of in bed together anyway. But so does that? I know you've defended some people with the red flag laws, but I remember the big problem with it was people didn't know enough to call a lawyer.
Correct. Yeah, they're still not doing that. No, they're still not doing that. So I had one actually 2 days ago here locally where it was an extension. So they got one on the guy 12 months ago. And the rule is if you reach like the 11th month mark and the sheriff has a good faith belief that the person is still a danger, they can file for an extension of a year. But they have to have some evidence of that. Like, it's not just enough to say, like, for example, in this case, they filed a motion that says, well, he hasn't presented any evidence that says he's not a danger basically anymore. Like, they were shifting the burden over to him. Right. And they had ordered him to get a safety. The judges always order them to get what's called a risk evaluation. So they go to a doctor. It's usually like a government doctor. And they do a risk evaluation, and they do have like low to moderate to high, like high. There's these arbitrary labels. They don't define them though. Like, it doesn't say a moderate risk person means likely to shoot somebody in the next 6 days or so. Like, there's no definition. They just slap these labels on him. So he goes and gets his risk assessment. It comes back that he's a moderate risk with no real explanation of what that is. And so the report gets filed with the judge. The sheriff files a motion that says, well, it says he's moderate risk, and he hasn't gotten another one that says he's low risk. Now, keep in mind, there's nothing in the statute that says you even have to get these evals, and there's nothing that says you must score a low risk before you get your gun rights back. Like, it's all made up. And so they file a motion, and they're like, well, he hasn't gotten a new one that says he's low risk, and he hasn't presented anything that says, he's not a danger anymore. So, right, flipping the burden, they're not allowed to do that. So I have the hearing.
So basically
I go in there. I'm the only lawyer there. Yeah. So I go in there, and there's like 6 people having hearings that day, and I'm the only one who's got a lawyer. And so I go in there, and they make their argument that it's in the doctor's report. So, not to get bogged down in the rules of evidence, but hearsay is normally not admissible in court. An outside statement that you're offering for the truth of the matter, it's not admissible in most courts. In this court, it's admissible. So the judge can take hearsay, but it cannot be the only basis for either the order or the extension of the order. There has to be like in-court testimony or people. Well, they didn't subpoena the doctor or anybody like that. They had no witnesses there. They just said, well, Judge, the report says he's still a moderate risk. We don't have anything to say anything different, so extend it for a year. So, of course, I say, well, you can't do that, Judge, because it's hearsay. It may be admissible, but you can't base it solely upon that. And so the judge agreed with me and dismissed their motion and said, yeah, I'm not extending it. Now, she said, unfortunately, I can't take that as, substantive, and so I have to dismiss it. So that tells you where the heads are of most of the judges around here when it comes to these RPOs. But so I win. Well, then I turn around, right? There's like 5 more people who are going to go after me. Nobody has a lawyer. If I hadn't known that rule, if I hadn't been there to know that rule, the judge would have granted the extension because they're not going to do it on their own. They have no affirmative duty to do the right thing. So if somebody gets up there and says hearsay, a judge can't say, whoa, hold on, that's hearsay. The other side has to object and say that's hearsay, and then they rule on the order. Otherwise, they're not going to get involved. So had I not been there, that guy's injunction would have got extended because she would have accepted what was in the report, gone off of what the sheriff said. So I think the sheriff is being semi-unethical, the sheriff attorney, by presenting evidence that they know is not admissible. And then the judge, again, their hands are sort of tied, but he would have lost had I not been there. And I know damn well those 5 people behind him were all going to lose because they didn't have an attorney and they don't know the rules of evidence. That they're just going to enter things. They're just going to ask for stuff. Like they are freaking shady there with those lawyers. And even when you've got a lawyer, I had one where they had a stack of photos, and like 3 of the photos I knew were relevant and admissible. 2 of them were not. They were like photos of a gun from like a year earlier. And they walk over and they hand the whole stack to me, and those guns were at the bottom. And they say, I'm just going to move all these into evidence. They're like waving it at me. And I said, hold on. So I take them, I look at them. I'm like, what about these 2? She's like, well, they're guns. I'm like, they're a year ago. They're not relevant. I'm going to object to these 2. And then she's like, all right, we won't enter those 2. So they, even with me there, they were fucking trying to sneak in the photos that they knew were not relevant in that case, because that's, like, they love those red flag laws. They want to get them on everybody they can get them on. They're going to file them on everybody that they can. They're going to pull shady shit in the courtroom. And if you go in there without a lawyer, you're going to get steamrolled. And so many people call me afterwards because they think they can just go in there on their own and, like, talk their way out of it. Like, this judge, my girlfriend's lying, or I was having a bad day that day or whatever. And they can't. They're going to lose. And so I don't know what else I can do. I've written articles, I've made videos. Like I tell everybody when I go give all my speeches and stuff that you got to have a lawyer if you go to these things, because it's a civil hearing. So you're not entitled to one. They're not going to appoint like a public defender for you. It's a civil hearing. You got to bring your own. And if you don't, you're going to lose. And then when 11 months comes around, guess what? They're going to ask to extend it for a year because you still don't have a lawyer. So people definitely got to get a lawyer because they will be steamrolled easily by them.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I was there for 5 minutes and got the case dismissed because I'm like, they ain't got no witnesses, Judge. And reluctantly, she dismissed it.
Right. Well, a lot of people, they're under this misimpression that justice will prevail. I'm not guilty,
Right.
so I'm going to win.
Right.
And it doesn't work that way.
No. They can never talk. even the domestic injunctions are the same way. They just think they can go in there and be like, "Oh, that bitch is lying," and I'm like, "Well, that's not a defense. Like, you're not going to win just because you go in there and say that." They always try and talk themselves. They think they can just go in there and talk themselves out of it, and it's always a disaster. So people need to stop doing that. And the biggest thing in domestics is lots of them just agree to it because they just go in there like, "Well, I don't want to talk to that bitch either, so fine, grant it, because I never want to see her either," without realizing that if it's granted, that means they can't have any guns. Like, they don't know. They just think it means they can't talk to the person. I don't want to talk to her anyway, so they just agree to it. And then 6 months later, they find out they can't have a gun. And then they call me, and I'm like, "I didn't know that I knew about it. You agreed to it. So guess what? You got to wait out the clock." So yeah, people just don't. And I think they should get. Quite frankly, I'm glad. Look, the business part of me is glad.
Uh-oh.
Call and write me.
Uh-oh.
But my
Starlink.
all right, am I back?
You're right.
Yep.
You bet.
Now I'm frozen again.
Oh, frozen again.
All right, let's try this again. So the business person in me likes to get the money, but the justice person in me thinks if you're going to have a law that takes away a fundamental constitutional right, you should get a fucking lawyer. They should give you one.
Well, and I've never understood why it's a civil case, not a criminal case, when it isn't the.
Because you can't go to jail.
Oh, that's the only reason. So they can take your rights away, but because you can't go to
Correct.
jail, it makes it civil.
Correct. Because they can't put you in jail, you don't get a lawyer. It's the same thing with traffic tickets. Like, the burden of proof on a traffic ticket is beyond a reasonable doubt, just like it is in a criminal case. But because the only thing they can do is give you points or a fine or take away your license, which is a privilege, you don't get a lawyer. So you walk into your traffic hearing, you can hire a lawyer, but you walk in without a lawyer, even though the burden is the same. So because there's no potential for you having your liberty taken away, your physical liberty, then you don't get a lawyer. So no, like, you don't get one. It's stupid. But right, to me, it's a fundamental right. Like, you're not going to jail, but if they're going to take away your right, or if it's the right to vote, if there was some administrative hearing that says you can't vote again, you should get a lawyer for that. Like, you shouldn't be able to take somebody's a fundamental civil right away from somebody without giving them a lawyer. But they don't. So you're not entitled to one. So you're going to show up there by yourself, and you're going to get steamrolled by the sheriff's department, who only wants to take your guns.
All right. And I wonder how many, and I'm not being a bleeding heart here, but I do wonder how many of these people are low income. It's almost like they seem like those would be targeted because they don't know enough. They don't have the money to pay a lawyer.
Right.
Right.
Well, and they'll lie to you too, because like when they get the risk protection order, when they get the original temporary one, that doesn't give them the right to come search your house. They serve you with it, and you either have to voluntarily turn over your guns to the sheriff's department, or the statute allows you to transfer them to a third-party person. You can give them to your neighbor, Uncle Joe, whatever. There's no requirement that the sheriff's office take them. You can't have them. You can give them to a third party. Guess what? They don't tell you that when they show up. They show up and they're like, "Bring me all your guns," or they tell you, "We're going to come into your house and take all your guns. This gives us the right to come in and take all your guns." They act like it's a search warrant, and it's not. But people don't know that, and they will lie to people about that all the time. I had to point that out to one of the local police departments here because I had like the body cam footage of what the people were saying, and I went to the lawyer. I'm like, they can't be telling people this. Like, what's going on? And they're like, "Oh yeah, I actually told them they shouldn't say that. I guess we should have another training." I'm like, yeah, because they'll just lie to you because they just want to get your gun.
Hey, Python's watching.
I thought.
Like, they want your gun. So
Anyway,
so you guys got red flag laws in Texas too?
Yeah. I don't think it's quite.
See, everybody just assumes. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't think it's quite as intrusive as.
At least not here, but we're kind of we're isolated from everything. So unless we actually go looking for the stories and that, we don't hear. it's very low key.
Right.
I mean,
Well, it's funny how everybody assumes Florida and Texas, like, right, they're the gun states, right? You're the gunshine state and the wild, wild west and all this stuff. If they only really knew how many actual gun laws we have on the books, they wouldn't call us that.
right. Well, and here again, and it goes back to the fact that we are far removed from any metropolitan area, so we don't see it. We're not exposed to the stories all the time. We don't even watch TV. So
actually, Jeff, I was wrong. We do not have a red flag law here in Texas. And
Oh man, see, I didn't know.
I thought we
Good for you.
did because I knew there was a anti-red flag act that just passed. So I figured we had one, but we don't. What they are actually doing is they are being proactive in case it becomes a federal law. They don't want it applied to Texas. So
Nice.
I was wrong.
That's
We
smart.
don't have the
That's
federal
smart.
laws.
That's smart.
I got a tractor.
And I don't think you can do a federal. I don't think you can do a federal red flag law. I think that'd be unconstitutional. But who the hell knows?
Yeah, who knows? They keep changing things, but I think they're just saying anything that appears to be a red flag
Sure.
law.
Yeah.
So
Good idea.
They're trying to be proactive. That is one good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's
All right.
it's like I said, we're pretty much the same on most things as Florida, gun wise.
Good. Well, I'm glad y'all are doing good out there. It's nice to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
It's definitely good
Yeah.
to see you.
Definitely.
Good to see you, Michael.
Yeah. I
And
swear. And Julie.
That's funny.
Uh,
I don't care who you are. That's funny.
log on. Hello, guys and gals. Hi.
All right, we're gonna do any drawings tonight.
You want to do drawings? You just want to wrap this up tonight?
Oh, I don't know. That's up to you. You're the drawing master.
Let's wrap this up and we'll try to figure out all the technical difficulties and see if we can get back on track next week. How's that?
Doubtful, but I support the dream.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Thank the sponsors and say goodnight.
all right,
Thanks,
so,
sponsors.
so first, let's
See if you can do as
thank
good a job as I did.
Cindy and Tim for being on. Hopefully, we can do more of this because it's really good to see you guys,
Yeah.
even though you can't see us. It's good to see the lurker.
He's waving.
I'm here.
Why are you flying that Puerto Rican flag in the background there? I don't understand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, bite your tongue.
Cody says Mike's camera is actually fine. He just doesn't want Iran getting the drop on his location.
That's right.
That's right.
Not that they could do anything right now. It's
Trampler on.
not like they're going to take a ship over here. All right, so let's thank the sponsors. We'll wrap up. Like Kerry, get out of here early tonight. So, once again, I'd like to thank our King sponsor, Johnny Custom Glocks. His life is way too short to have a Glock trigger that sucks. So if you don't have a 4311 in your 43, 43X, or 48, you are missing out. Or the new
Damn, I called it a 1411.
that's coming out. Get yourself one of them. Don't forget to follow him on all his socials and go back and look at his old stuff so you can find out what he's really doing. All right. Our Jester sponsor, Sean Hilton at smokeshow3d.com.
Woo! Yeah, baby.
Don't forget to use your FSP 10 to get 10% off. All right. And the Self Defense Emporium. Taking care of all your training needs and wants and desires. So hopefully we'll be back on track next week. We'll figure out what's going on. We thought we had it fixed, but we'll figure it out. So everybody have a great week. All right. Stay safe. Peace. Play
Bye.
music.
Bye, guys.
Bye.